enumerate the target, loot exposed sources, and pivot from the FTP to a web login using discovery credentials. We'll go recon, loot, access, and proof, minimal tooling, maximum signal. Cut that down a little bit for you guys so it's not too overpowering, yeah? Right, so this is my journey to ZeroTrace, an illustrious hacker gang that has proven inspirational in many ventures to me. There's two assignments that we have today that have been given in my, we'll call it audition for ZeroTrace. I'm to crack the Hack the Box Simulator starting point, Crocodile, and move right over from that to leak code and to solve some problems over there. Before we begin, you're going to go ahead and take a look at our mission briefing. Here we go.
Zero, this is your first assignment. If you want to prove you have what it takes to join ZeroTrace, you'll need to start at the foundation. No shortcuts, no excuses. Your training begins with the Leak Code Beginner's Guide. It's not just about solving problems, it's about sharpening your logic, your speed, and your precision. Think of it as weapon training for your mind. Once you've shown you can handle the basics, your field test awaits. Hack the box. Starting point. Crocodile. Infiltrate the system, learn its weaknesses, exploit its flaws, and leave nothing behind but silence. Complete these missions, and you'll earn more than just skills. You'll be that much closer to earning your mask, a real mask. Each success brings you closer to ZeroTrace. Each mask brings you closer to becoming one of us. Each success brings you closer to ZeroTrace fail. And you'll remain in the shadows, watching, waiting, forgotten.
So we have the Hack the Box terminal. This is how we're going to access the system. Alright, agent 0 reporting in, scan is online. Step 1, enumeration. If it's open, we'll find it. We're going to start here by launching an nmap, and that's simply just scanning for what's open. It's never really wrong, it just tells you where to go. And there's always a different path for every hacker. But you didn't come here for a lecture, you came here to see my journey. So here we go. So first we're going to take a look and see what our target is, and if we go here, we have the target right here. This is the IP address. And of course, we have the mission details and the mission logs, so we know exactly what we're doing and what we're up against. First, as always, my go-to is the ping. Right, so we're going to have to get some of this mess out here. Simple ping there. Oh, because there's an extra. Okay, didn't see that there. The world of details. World of details. This is how we're going to start. See if our target is active. And it is very, very much active. Control C. Right. Now we're going to look at that. Now, before we launch this nmap here, I have to explain here that we're going to be testing a faulty site here to see if we can break into it with unmitigated credentials. So now, here we go. Launching nmap. And this is again going to scan everything and let us know what's what. We're going to add a couple of scripts in here. It's going to add a default scripts flag in here and tell us the version of those. so that when we do this file transfer protocol, which is essentially us, this is how messages are sent across the internet on the coding side of things. Right, so let me see here. Okay, nope, we did everything, and we're just going to add our IP address of target in mind here. And it is going to start, and now it's going to take a little bit. But we are launching an Nmap with default scripts in the default version. Those are the two flags, and it already has gotten the job done for us. Alright, let's see. Okay, so this, very telling. Very telling. So what we can see is that file transfer protocol has been enabled on the port 21. It's essentially telling us what door is open. And now we found it. And now we are moving in. File transfer protocol, this is just the protocol in which the messages are sent across the computer's communication, I guess to put in layman's terms. It shows us an anonymous login allowed. Somewhere in here. Ah, here it is, okay. So this is letting us know that we can get in with an anonymous access. So we don't need a password per se. Right, so just to come over here with this, just so that we know, we show exactly what's going on, just so you guys can follow along. What Nmap scanning switch employs the use of default scripts? That is the, I guess, -SC. Yep, just like that. So see that here. We've already passed this point. So what service version is found by running, or found to be running on port 21? And we already found that, not there. We found that to be right here. VSFTPD 3.03. That is the version. This is why we did the -SV. It tells us the version of these scripts or of these services. So see here, like that. Now then, moving on to see if we get this point where FTP code is returned to us for the anonymous FTP login allowed. That, my friends, would be right here. Unless it was this already. Oh, 230, so that's right here. So this is what he was saying, and essentially this puts the whole picture in perspective here. So anonymous FTP login is allowed, so you can get into the system without a password, essentially. And this is the code that he was looking for that lets us know exactly what it just told us. And then moving on. After connecting the FTP server using the FTP client, what username to be provided when prompted to log in anonymously. So we'll go ahead and just start that process, and I'll already give you the username. Alright, so we're coming over here. We're gonna go FTP 10, 20, 16, 45. I think I might have gotten that part wrong. 1645 now. Alright, still got a decent memory on me. Alright, that's gonna go ahead and send this in there. That's gonna go ahead and give it a second. Let's see if we can go ahead and just type this in now. No. Okay. Oh, that would do it every time. Okay. FTP. Alright, so we misspelled, once again, misspelled our attacker target. And there it is right there. Okay, so what are we going to use? We just learned earlier that anonymous will get us in there anywhere. So we're going to go ahead and give it that. Login is successful, didn't even ask for a password. So the answer to this question down here, where was it? There we go. Anonymous. After connecting to the FTP server using the FTP client, the username to be provided when prompted to log in anonymously. Alright. So after connecting to the FTP server anonymously, what command can we use to download the files we find in the FTP server. Another 3-letter word. It's very simple. So we are now inside this system, and we are going to get a couple of things. So from the mission briefing, I didn't bother you with reading through it on here, but I did take this already. So I know that we want to get the user list to see exactly which credentials we can get into. So simply get is all we're going to type in, and then we're going to type in the name of the user list. Oh, wait, before we do any of that, yes, it does tell us. Does it tell us? Does it tell us? Yes, it does. Alright, here we go. Hold on 1 second. Let me just get this. Oh, okay, it's already up. I'm all over the place. Alright, here we go. So what we can see here through this ls, this is a simply list command. It's going to tell us what's inside. So what we know is the two lists that I was going to type in here are right here. So by doing this ls command, you can see what's inside. So now we know what to get. So we'll do one and then the other. So get allowed user list. And it did its thing, simple as that. And now we move on to the next one. Get allowed user list password. And now we've got the list of users and their passwords respectively. So now we can use enumeration to see exactly what target will allow us to get even further. So then, and we might have to use a tool for that actually that is not necessarily accessible to us as of right now. So we're gonna go ahead and bar so we can get out of that. Now then, we're going to do something here. We're going to go buster here, which is essentially brute forcing the directory to find a match. Essentially just forcing the issue. So we're going to go buster the directory for the URL, and then we put in our IP address that I keep forgetting. 129.16.45. Here we go. Now then. Alright, there's some more work we need to do. The web, user, share. This is the web list now we're going to get. I'll explain what some of these things mean in just a second here. And while that does its thing, I'm going to explain here some of these questions here because they've already kind of flown through this. So after connecting to the FTP server anonymously, what command can be used to download the files that we just found, and that is going to be get. Alright? What is one end we saw that here that we used earlier to get those files initially, and then we catted them and essentially just open them and scan them on our end so that we have what it is. So get is to download essentially, cat is to open so you can see what's in front of you. Make sense? Alright, so what is the higher privileged sounding username and allowed username? I think this might be a little bit ahead of us here. Yes, this is ahead of us. Right, so okay. Okay, right. Okay, so just trying to gather my steps here, make sure we're on point here because we do want to follow this down to the T. So now we'll go ahead and go to the end of these. So we found a couple of interesting files here. So we're looking for login PHP. This is the biggest one. So this, what we have found here, this is a URL attack. We are attacking a website essentially, and we're looking to see if we can break into its directory. That's the whole gist here. So what you have here is when you go to a website, let's just use Nike for an example. So Nike.com HTA access. That's not a normal link, and you might have to have some extra credentials to have that. But in the case where you are logging in to access your cart or Amazon or something along the lines, what you can do is you can hit this login, and this is where people will log in. So we know that this is one of the interesting parts that we need to go ahead and take notice of, really. So here going to now we know that this is where we're going to go. So login PHP. So we do something like HTTP. And we're going to put in this thing that I keep forgetting. Alright. God, I gotta remember this. 10/129/1645. We're not done yet. Backslash login PHP. Alright. So now what we're gonna do, oh boy. Now what we're gonna do is access those lists that we had earlier. So these are the users. What we know is that there's also a password list. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the passwords. So we're going to have them side by side in a sense. Right, now we have all this. Now mind you, we may not even need any of this. I typically know what these things tend to trend towards, but we want to go ahead and be thorough about these things. So, looking here. Oh. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and try out a couple of these. So admin, let's just try. I don't remember having to do all of this, but we were going to be thorough. Wow, first try, okay. Right, so usually to explain the psychology here, essentially usually with these starting points, these capture the flag assignments, that is the flag that we've been looking for this entire time. So, in short, essentially what we did was we broke into an IP address into a system, got the password and user list, and then used that to go ahead and test which will work, and then find the login page through the GoBuster directory, which essentially goes to and brute forces the entire directory to find the ways of in. And what we did was we simply downloaded the list that it gave us access to and just pretty much just tried the users and passwords until it worked. Now we only had 4 to try from, and we got it on the first try, but that's not always the case. So, connecting anonymously, exfiltrating files, allowed user list, allowed user password, parsing the loop, admin username found, password file gives us credential, time to pivot to the web. Then we ran the GoBuster, discovered the login PHP, which was our goal of entry. And then we visited the login PHP page, which is the way that you do that in the URL system, tried the admin password, and it was successful. And as you see, we have accomplished the mission. So now, we would take this, and we would just copy and paste that right into here. So that's that long file, right? Here, this is the login PHP, so which PHP file can be identified as the director of the brute force that will provide the opportunity to authenticate the web service. That is the login PHP that we found here. And that music is very ominous. I don't really know if I'm a huge fan of that. Just go back to that, that just makes me feel weird. Right, so which file type can we see? Switch GoBuster with the GoBuster file. We are looking for specific file types. That is, hold on, where is it? This is interesting. I don't remember this one. I believe it to be the code. Is it that? Oh. Okay. So that's a part I forgot. So negative X is in the script is letting him know that you're looking for a specific file type. Well, version of Apache HTTP server running on the target host, and this you get from the initial nmap scan. So that's up here somewhere. Right here. Now, so that you know the other port AD that was open, but this is a different protocol that we are not using right now. So we are using this, and this is the answer to that. So again, nmap does tell you everything. And which one is hard for sounding username to allow user listen to admin is usually always the case. So in these simulations, if you find anything with the admin or in any other situation where you're hacking and you find the admin credentials, it's usually your go-to. Most things don't have an admin list unless they are the admin. Yeah. So now that we have conquered that, and entered that and found all of that, now we are going to go ahead and pivot over to lead code. In order to find exactly what lies for us there. But these are all problems and we all approach this with a different moment, so without further ado.
There's a certain weight in the silence before a mission. That pause when the system is quiet, but your mind isn't. Doubts creep in, whispering that maybe this is the puzzle that breaks you. But I've learned every problem has a pattern, and every shadow has an opening. You just have to see it before it sees you. Logic becomes the weapon, precision the armor. Each algorithm, each line of code, another step into the battlefield. They call it leak code. I call it survival training. Another test. Another chance to prove that hesitation won't define me. Time to step forward. It's time to face the mission.
A little bit of introspectiveness there. You can't see this side here, but this is going to show essentially what we are looking for here. So we have a couple of problems we're going to be solving today. Before I do that, I thought I had this going. There we go. We have to go back and forth quite a bit for that. Right, so we have a problem here. Let's think of this as a system that's broken. We need to write a little bit of code to make it work. So here's the mission. Print the numbers from 1 to n, but with a twist. If the number is divisible by 3, so it fits. But if it's divisible by 5, so it buys. If it's both, so it fits both. Otherwise, just print the number itself. It's a logic concept that teaches us how to combine conditions cleanly. Or cleanly, I should say. So we're going to do a couple of things here. We're going to check if the problem here is that if given an integer, and this may sound a bit ridiculous, so I'm doing my best not to confuse you all too much here. But given an integer and return a list of strings from 1 to n for multiples of 3, output fizz instead of number. For multiples of 5, output buzz. For numbers divisible by both 3 and 5, output fizz buzz. Otherwise, the output of the numbers itself. So what we're doing is trying to run a clean index here, a clean integer sum. So what we'll do first is the logic is we'll check if divisible by both 3 and 5 is numbers, right? And if that is the case, the output is fizz buzz. We want to let the code know that if it's divisible by 3, output needs to be fizz. Divisible by 5, output needs to be buzz. And if it's else, other than those two, the output, the number lists itself. So now, there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can do Python, and we can do C++. Which is Java. I'll stick with that for now. Python is much easier in my opinion. So let's see here. line 1 we need to create an empty list called results out of my answers. And line 2 I need to loop from 1. Alright, loops from 1 up and through and it's inclusive. So let's just do. Bear with me for a moment, I'm just going to start punching in a second. I'll explain each line as soon as I get through. Just want to leave the main feed. So essentially this is a polymer where it's divisible by 3, it's being divisible by 5, and we're trying to change the inputs from 0 to feasible. So, and we'll do that in the next 2 lines of code, but right now we're just letting you know that whatever is divisible, this is what it's going to be. So, instead of saying no, alright, so here's, if it's both, this is where we're putting in that feasible. So weird, it just starts playing on its own, and it asks me to, okay, whatever. Okay, so now here's a put in the other parameters. So if it is divisible, and I just realized they might have been using a different icon up here, which is definitely going to make these things not work. Oddly enough to me, that doesn't even. We'll take it. Okay. No, it's not. Okay, so 3, 0, total result. Push back. We already completed false. Semicolon here. Alright, and then the next one will be as if integer divisible by 5. Summed up to 0. And space might be important. These things are weird, and the littlest details make the biggest difference. So there's a push back. Goes for buzz. I don't think I'm there. For some reason I'm seeing when you miss this part and it really doesn't work, so it could be very, very confusing. So we're going to run it, and alright, spinning back a couple of hairs here. So there's this line 58, line 1. Alright, so few seconds here. Is there something that was not matched up? No, this should be covered in this. So then, I've got a line right here. So I say details matter. Result. Alright, now this might get so good. Oh boy, okay. Cell on one class solution. This is what I always prepared to do things with Python anyways. And that might be something I'm going to do in this case because this is not my cup of tea right now. Okay, so moving on to Python. Put this in a different way here. Good, okay. Okay, then we start over from the beginning then. Okay, results. Essentially doing the same thing, just speaking a different language and code here, or a coding language. Bear with me one moment here, just want to make sure this can take a little bit of back and forth. Elif all it means is else if. It's just another way to determine it. And again, we're in a different programming language, so almost done here. Alright, test these bars, then we put Elif here. And if that is the case, the result appends to these. Steps. No. Alright. Result. Obtained. spaces here. That could be giving me trouble as well. Alright, now we come back here, and the last one is else, and if it results in nothing, if none of these are true. No, that's just getting point. Okay, hold on. Some text about text. There. Okay. Let's see here. So maybe we have to do a little bit of digging here. I know this was going to be one of the heaviest ones for me. On 3. Could it be? One and three. Yeah, everything's fine. So we might. Oh, it is that. I'm going to be so upset. Okay, but it still worked. 3 fifths. So how is this wrong? 3 fifths. Yeah. Heavens, let me see if we did this wrong. So 4 and 9 is in range 1. I don't know how much of a thing that of a difference that would make, but 5 divided by 3 equals 0, and if integer divisible by 5 equals 0, colon, result tends to fizz buzz. Result opinions to fizz buzz. So what's the issue here? There's 5, there's 5. Oh. That's the thing with these things. Every detail counts, every detail matters. Gee, God. So, to explain everything, line 1, I create an empty list called the result to have my answers. In line 2, I loop from 1 up through n inclusive. In line 3, if the I is divisible by 3 and 5 by a pen fizz buzz. In line 4, else if, so that's what the whole elif is for. So else if only divisible by 3 by a pen fizz. And if line 5, else if only divisible by 5, then I append buzz. So that's what we're doing now. In line 6, otherwise I append the number itself, but as a string. So we just put it in a string. It doesn't matter to us right now. Finally, I return the results, and it now allows us to get just the correct answer. I let us know that we have now solved the problem. So there is one now. In judging for the sake of time this morning, I'm going to be doing one more for you all here. Give me 1 second to find it. Did that already. Oh, there is one more part about this that I want to kind of explain a little bit. So there's a complexity to these coding processes, right? Where there's a thing called time on or space on. Essentially, space on is how much work we're doing is going to impact the overall result. So if there's a bunch of trash on the street, it's going to take up some time, right? Alter the complexity of the case here. So there are different things there that you have to listen to as well. But why do I feel like, why is this music so epic right now? It doesn't need to be this epic. It really doesn't. There's so many other choices here. I hated it at first, but now I'm kind of with it. So now then, moving on, so to explain that, we're going to do the next problem. Is going to be called, it's another simple one really. We're going to be running a sum of arrays. Sum of a 1D array. So give me a minute to pull up that problem. It should be, right. And if you clean and budget this on Python once again because it is easier to make. Now then, today's mission is running a sum of 1D array. I've got a list of 1 to 2, 3, 4. Just 4 numbers, very simple. I want each position to become the sum of everything up to that position, so the output becomes 1 through 6. Right? So 1 plus 2 is 3. You know, 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 plus 2 plus 3, that's 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, that's 10. You see how this works. Alright, so the trick is to keep it running total as I walk forward, really. No fancy math, just add as we go. This is simple addition, however, it's going to be on a grand scale, so this is why we use computers to do these things. So on line 1, I want to define a function called the running sum that takes a list called nums. And these nums are just the numbers there in front of us, there's nothing really there, you don't look too far into it. So, let me give you the code here that we have, and I am going to say that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start from here. Alright, so the total is 0. Alright, define the function called running sum that takes a list of the called nums. That's the DEF running sum code there, that's at the bottom. Alright, then I actually want to start looping index 1 because the index is already at 0 and that represents the sum of the first element itself. Just bear with me for a second here. Alright, so moving down here. Going equal. And bracket in and out. So then, on this third line, I want to override the nums on the integers with the nums plus the nums minus 1. Just bear with me. That means current value plus the total so far. The total so far lives at the nums on the integer minus 1. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. Thank you for that. I'm trying my best not to break the fourth wall here and stay in character, but I do appreciate that. So now then, moving on, line 4, I return the nums, and this is the same list, but now each 4 is running the total in place, so it uses constant extra memory. So give me a second, bear with me, I'm going to run this code for you so we can go ahead and break this mission. Dear God, I hope this doesn't give you as much trouble as the last. 4x, the nums. That's the thing about everything. Everything is so complex. One minor detail off in the average system comes crashing down. Plus, you guys can hear me alright. It's talking a little low in the mark. I'm trying to keep it together, yeah. So total plus equal, right? Yep. Equal plus x, alright, so specific integer, then out. We're going to append the total. And then we're going to turn it in here and back it over 3 spaces. Return out. Alright, so to explain what we've done here, in the Python language, that is, again, I do like Python more than Java, that's just again preference really. But line 1, we define the function called running sum that takes a list of nums, or a list of numbers called nums. It's honestly complex. So I started with index 1 because index 0 already represents the sum of the first element by itself, right? And then, like I said before, I override nums with the nums I plus the nums with I minus 1. So that means that parent value plus the total so far, thus total lives at nums I minus 1, which is why we added in an initial formula there. So line 4, and I return the nums. This is the same list, but now each spot is the running total in place, so it uses constant extra memory. So it just keeps going. Alright. So hopefully this doesn't give me any trouble. The longer it takes till I realize, the better it is for you. And yes, we are right. I would say, do you think we have some more time to break one more machine? I think so. Let's do it. Now then, the next one is going to be, this is going to be problem 1672, titled The Richest Customer Wealth. So it looks like we're going to be doing some accounting. Now then, so mission details. Each row is a customer's account. The sum of each row to get their wealth and then return the maximum wealth across all customers. Example 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Both rows sum to 6. So the richest wealth is 6. So essentially we need to go in here and pretty much take out everybody's money and make sure it's in the right place. And make sure we have listed who's the richest and who's not. First Maxwell, well, let me put the code together for you and then I'll explain it. But essentially, I'll give you the step by step here. Yeah, you know what? Let me just do it, and then I'm going to go ahead and break it down for you. So, make sure I'm at the right one. Yes. Okay, so we want to define the maximum wealth for each self and each account. Okay, so, this could be simple. But the details always do cause me to struggle. And then define in. Okay, so we want to determine the max wealth. Let me put that up. Total that up to 0. Then for customer and accounts. Wealth. I'm not going to find it. Wealth. Some customer. The system does that, it's coding max wealth. I'm just going max wealth and equals some plus 0 plus. Oh God, you keep putting the plus 0. Come on. Wealth. Still up on it. Then bite me in the ass later. 10 max wealth. So essentially initialize the max wealth to 0. So for each row, customers' accounts compute wealth with the sum of the row. So if the wealth is greater than the max wealth, then we update the max wealth. And after all the rows, we return the max wealth. So we're examining each customer row, compute their total by summing across the row, and then keep track of the largest total seen by far. So we use this very simple scan and track method. Right, so we're just adding them up and then listing them. And telling this computer to list which is higher based off of the totals that we got first off of running the code initially. So this should work. Right, so let me see here, is there anything here? So just to explain the line of code. But from here down, we already explained this, right? We define the maximum wealth. This is essentially the problem right here. So now max wealth, alright, so we track the richest wealth so far. Then on the second line, for customers in the accounts, we iterate each row as one customer account. The wealth equals the sum multiplied by the customer. We're adding up all the accounts for this customer. And if the wealth is greater than the max wealth, then max wealth is equal to the wealth. So we update the best that we've seen so far. Now you return the max wealth reporting the richest customer on the wealth. Or I guess in the wealth conversation, that's all we do again. So we've already done it. I'll just explain to you. Hopefully this works and we can move on. Feeling good and looking good. Okay, so that is, we got the 3 of these actually. I believe so. Make sure we did hack the books, credit call, fizz buzz, and we did not. Don't think. Oh, we also did that as well. Yeah, we did the running sum as well. So okay, so we have pretty much conquered 4 missions today. I think that's solid progress for the village back over at ZeroTrace. I'm going to go ahead and get in touch with Agent Guardian here. He's going to go ahead and let us know what to do next here, or at least when our next assignment is, whenever that is. It tends to be a little unpredictable with the messaging these days. Let me go ahead and check some other things here, make sure I haven't left anything out for you guys. I believe. Ah, here it is. So, all in all, I accomplished all the tasks for this stream here, so I definitely appreciate you joining me for the ride in my journey to this ZeroTrace hacker group. Expect puzzles disguised as numbers, logic hidden in plain sight, and patterns waiting to be uncovered. I'll walk through each challenge, explain the thought process, and show how every line of code becomes a part of the mission. This isn't just practice, this is preparation for big ops, for tougher systems. But the real fight is ahead. Welcome to my ZeroTrace journey. I hope you stick around to the end.
Zero. You've taken your first steps. Crocodile fell, and your logic is beginning to sharpen. That's progress. But progress is only the beginning. Don't mistake movement for mastery. You're learning to crawl in a world where only those who run the fastest survive. You still have a long way to go before you're worthy of the mask and of ZeroTrace. Continue your missions. Continue to prove yourself. The shadows are watching.